You know, everyone is so well-meaning when you have mental health issues, right?
Yeah.
Like, so well-meaning, but I'm just gonna be honest. Some of their advice completely and utterly stinks, and we're gonna
Yes.
talk about that today.
Yes.
Welcome to It's a Mental Thing, the podcast that dives deep into the power of the mind and the heart of mental health. Whether you're navigating life's challenges, seeking balance, or simply curious about how to care for your mind, you're in the right place. Each week, we explore stories, strategies, and expert insights to help you build resilience, find clarity, and embrace a healthier you. So take a deep breath and let's journey together toward a brighter, more mindful tomorrow. Welcome to It's a Mental Thing, because your mental health matters.
Okay, so obviously everyone has an opinion, right? But not everyone is a mental health therapist, such as yourself.
Yeah.
So talk to me about some of these, what would you call it, advice that people give?
Yes,
What do you think?
actually. So it's funny you said advice. In therapy school, like through my master's program, therapist, and I think this is something that a lot of people forget. We are actually trained not to give advice. And so,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I never thought about that, but when I think back to any therapy session I've ever been in.
Yeah, I'm not giving you advice.
No.
No. Because if I give you advice and it doesn't work, whose
Oh,
fault
I'm
is that?
blaming you.
Yes. So in school, I can remember thinking, oh, that makes so much more sense as to why a therapist says, hey, like, here's a suggestion.
Yes.
You could try whatever you're thinking is best for you. I would never tell a patient, hey, I think you should go out and like tell that guy you think he's cute, because what if it works out?
No.
And then this person is abandoned or rejected, and then they come back to me and they're like, hey, you remember me?
It's your fault.
You told me to take my shot, and I did, and it blew up in my face.
Yeah.
No therapist should be giving advice.
Okay.
So my job, like we we wanted to say this was like, voices that we hear, but opinions on the outside.
Uh-huh.
TikTok loves to diagnose that those are people's opinions. Your opinions are valid,
Yeah.
but that does not make them right. Someone's advice, a friend can give you advice because you can be mad at your friend. You can tell your friend, girl, that didn't work. Or I didn't like that. That wasn't what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But as your therapist, I am here to make sure you are living a healthy, happy, fulfilled life. And I'm here to support you through that. And I'm here to guide you through that. I am not here to tell you what to do.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And so that would be, if I was just always giving you, well, my opinion is this. I mean, I'm even trained, my morals, values, beliefs, political, I can't do any of that. And that isn't because.
So you keep that completely separate.
Totally separate.
Okay.
And that's not because I don't want to share those things with you, but ethically, that's not my job.
Yeah.
My job is not to portray those onto you or to make you feel guilty in any way for not believing the same things I believe.
Yeah.
So mental health tips. What I wanted to talk about today are mental health tips that they sound great, but they don't work.
Do they sound great though?
To some people, absolutely.
Yes, to some people.
Yes. Do they work? No. And I think there's no ill intent involved.
No, I agree with you. I truly think everyone just wants to help.
Yes.
Right? Or even like you want to help, you want to be the one to give that
Yeah.
just give that good advice. But
And my first one on here is something that everybody says.
okay.
And it's very sweet. But from anxious person to anxious person here.
Come on.
So just think positive.
I would love
Yeah.
to just think positive.
Isn't it sweet though? Like
It's
for someone,
precious.
they understand. It's like if we're going through it and we may be negative Nancy all day.
Yeah.
And you've got someone who's like, hey, just like really try to be positive right now.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like someone telling someone with anxiety, why are you so anxious? But to just think positive, it sounds good because it's optimistic. it's a very good vibe. Like we're giving good vibes to
Sure.
someone and maybe we're wanting them to have a good mindset. But the reason why it doesn't work is because you cannot out positive a dysregulated nervous system.
So true. Yeah.
I cannot make someone who has a dysregulated nervous system feel positive about anything.
Mhm.
They want to be positive, and you may want to be positive in the situation you're living in, but nobody around you may truly know what's going on the inside.
Right.
Because our nervous system is, if you have an unregulated nervous system, nothing in our brain really makes sense. So
Mhm.
to just think positive. That's a mental health tip that people think I'm just going to be a positive person in their life, which is great. They do need that.
Yeah.
But if you're always telling someone to be positive when they genuinely feel like there's nothing positive in their life,
Mhm.
it's not going to work.
Right.
Because what it actually does is it invalidates their real pain.
Right. And, in our previous episode, we talked through like naming what was happening to you, right?
Mhm.
And this is just, I feel like you're trying to put a blanket over it.
Yeah. So
Right.
just think
Band-Aid.
positive. But what if they just lost someone
Right.
and their friend is trying to be a really good friend and they're like, they're in a better place. Like, let's really be positive about it. They mean well.
Yeah.
But to someone who is completely overwhelmed and overstimulated, that they're not valuing at all their pain
No.
or their feelings that they're having in that moment by saying that. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing to say, but it's not something that's going to help with their mental health.
Right.
Another thing this one does is it kind of teaches emotional suppression. Like we're teaching them to suppress
Right.
their emotions. So if you've got someone who is a negative person, there's usually a reason.
Mm.
There are a lot of negative people in our lives. And there's usually a reason. And a lot of times is that maybe because they're genuinely an unhappy person.
Yeah.
So there's a reason, and we're teaching them more and more to just suppress their
Yeah.
emotions rather than actually saying, that would be like a Southerner's, "How are you today?" What's your response?
Fine.
Okay. Oh, that's great. You're dying inside, right?
Yes.
But if you were to ask me, turn around and say that to me.
How are you today?
I'm terrible. Thanks for asking though. And my mom just passed away and my cat has diabetes and I'm really like, this is your face. Like that's your real face.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, you just asked me how I was.
Right.
So like, that's how, now I hear it all day.
That's why we say
fine. Because we don't want anyone to know how we're feeling.
Yeah.
As a therapist, I hear those stories all day because
Yeah.
I do ask, how are you?
Like
Because
really.
I'm ready
Mhm.
to hear my cat's dying
Yeah.
or the worst parts of them. But I'm there to support and not say, let's just be positive about this situation. Because like I was watching you, the more negative it got, you're like, I hate that I asked. But that's what we're used to.
Yeah.
And so we're teaching people to just suppress how they feel.
You're right. And I think I've even told you before, like I had friends when I was really dealing with some really heavy anxiety that would call me and be like, how are you today?
Really.
But how are you really today?
Yes.
Like they wouldn't let me get away with
Yeah.
fine.
You're not, yeah.
Right?
And when we're not fine, we hear it all the time. It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
We hear that. And there's some people who do not like that saying because they want to say, well, it's not okay. It is okay to not be okay
Yeah.
when you're getting help.
Yes.
When you are seeking help when you're not okay, that's so strong.
Yes.
That is so brave. If you're not okay and you're okay with not being okay, I'm not okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to suppress anybody's emotions. And another thing is it kind of, for me, and this may be all mental health specialists, it may be people who have heard just be positive, it kind of increases shame because then positivity feels like a failure to them.
Right. Like I can't be. So
So something's
what's
wrong
the
with
point?
me.
Yeah.
You know, if I can't, my friend keeps telling me to be positive, but I feel like I have nothing to be positive about, then there's some sort of failure there.
Yeah.
And we don't want that for them. So that's one of my hot takes on mental health tips that don't work.
Okay.
Is just think positive.
So
that's just
so now we
one.
know. Keep that one to
Yeah.
ourselves.
And again, there's no ill intentions, but think of other ways to
not
say feeling, you know, how are you doing today? Have you been okay?
Right.
Like literally just asking them.
What are you feeling
What
today?
What is
like,
it?
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell them how to think.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
The next one.
Oh gosh.
Everything happens for a reason.
Okay. Well,
I know. I'm knocking all of
thank
them.
you, Susan.
I know. And it's so funny being an Alabama podcast where we say all of these things.
Like
All of them.
seriously.
And it's because we do want to help
Mm-hmm.
and we do want to be kind.
Yeah.
But when someone's going through it,
It's better to just be real.
oh, yes, it really is.
That's what I craved when I was really in that struggle. Was I craved realness from people,
Mhm.
you know, because just pretending was not okay.
And I tell patients, like as soon as they sit down with me and after I've gone over informed consent with them, I say, listen, before we really dive in, like I'm a transparent therapist. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you my whole story because this is your session. But if I've experienced something similar, I'm going to be real and say, yes, that hurts.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Every shirt, every color. But that's me as a therapist. I'm not going to sit across the table and oh, that sounds hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure everything that you went through happened for a reason. Can you imagine? So, like, why that sounds good is because there's meaning behind it, and we want to make them feel comfortable
Yeah.
in that situation. But why it does not work is because something unfair happened to them. Something harmful might have happened to them. Something painful might have happened to them. And we are saying everything happens for a reason. And being a Christian, both of us being Christian, like we mean that in a way of, you know, maybe they're in a better place. But also even that.
Or this is, you know, God's plan.
Yes.
And you're right. As a Christian, I do believe that.
Right.
Right. But that does not take away from the fact that I am feeling sad, crushed,
your pain.
whatever. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're not taking that from them either.
Right.
When we say that, even as a Christian and meaning well and them being a Christian, but if something harmful happened to them, if they're in pain, if they feel like something unfair happened in life to them, that is not what they want to hear in that moment. And we have to let them sit with that. We have to let that be okay and not take it personal.
Like, it's okay to just say, this sucks.
Yes. And I am so sorry.
Regardless of the reason that it happened, right? Because in reality, at that moment, they don't care, right?
And they do not want to hear this happened for a reason because to them, it is unfair. They are mad. And they have every right to be. And I tell so many people that every day. I'm like, you have every right to be angry.
Yeah.
You have every right to be just so upset because this is unfair.
Yeah.
This shouldn't have happened to you. I will sit with them in that. And that, whatever that may be, because everybody's pain and suffering is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's trauma is different. And not one outweighs the other. So you may mean well by saying that, but truly think about before you say that, what happened to them and what did they go through?
Yeah.
You know, because what this is doing is it's really going to shut down their grief. And kind of like you said, like in that moment, they don't want to hear that, you know, especially if they're in a better place and, you know, this was God's plan or, we know everything happens for a reason. That's just shutting them down even more with their
Yeah.
grief, because there's so many ups and flows and stages of grief that they may shut down completely.
Mhm.
And we do not want that. Another thing that happens when this is said a lot is the pressure people try to find in that silver lining prematurely. Okay. So if something unfair happened to me, and this, when I think of, someone who's lost a child, that is so
Mhm.
unfair.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we can't fathom that. We can't fathom what they are going through in that moment. And so when we say that, are we asking them to find something happy prematurely, too soon?
Right.
So they may be thinking that. They may be feeling like, wait a minute, it's been 6 months. Am I still not allowed to feel this? Am I supposed to have been happier now? No. Again, we're not telling them what to
Mhm.
feel.
Mhm.
And one of the other ones is we're minimizing their trauma
Right.
when we say that. And again, it's all within good intent, but it's really just it's we want to be careful, when we think about these mental health tips you've heard, or these things that we're so used to saying that just don't work.
Right.
And we have to know, like, why, like what we want to do in that situation instead is say something along the lines of, you know what, this shouldn't have happened to you.
Mhm.
And I'm so sorry that it happened to
Yeah.
you. And this is unfair. Like you said earlier, like how can I help? Like, what can I do with you? Like, how can I be there for
Yeah.
you?
Like calling it what it is, right?
Yeah. But and acknowledging this shouldn't have happened.
Mm.
And there are so many things out there that shouldn't have happened, where we know that, whatever that may be, and then we come in with everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Wow. Do we know that, or are we just saying that because that's what we've learned and
Mhm.
been taught our whole lives?
Yeah.
But it's just not something that's effective as far as saying it to someone who is going through it.
I feel like people are almost scared to say the ugly parts out loud, right?
100%.
But it's like that's when you're in that pit, that's
Yes.
what you need people to get down in that pit with you and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is terrible."
Yeah. Get crisscross with them, knee
Yeah.
to knee, and say, what do you need right now in this moment?
Yeah.
And they may say nothing. And a lot of times I tell people, sometimes you just need to sit with them.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yes.
They may just need to cry, and they may just need a friend
Yeah.
and a hand on a shoulder.
You're right.
That's it. And so the most common problem with those two things is they skip the nervous system altogether. So we're not thinking about the nervous system
That's
at
true,
all.
yeah.
With those things, like, we're not thinking about how are they regulated, are they dysregulated, are they in fight, flight, or freeze, are they in survival mode? So we're skipping the nervous system altogether. We are assuming safety that isn't there. So what if these people aren't safe with the way they're feeling and the way they're going through those things?
Yeah.
We're prioritizing what we think their mindset should be versus what they're feeling.
Right.
So
Mhm.
we may think, hey, have a positive mindset. Like, let's think
Sure.
this through. Let's you can fight this. You can get through. You can be encouraging, but we can't assume what their mindset should
Right.
be.
Like where are they actually
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
And that's when you want, like you said, you want to get in the trenches with them.
Mhm.
And, we have all these encouraging things on social media. That's why I say, like, it's opinions, right? Everybody's
is,
right
yeah.
to an opinion. But from a therapist's perspective, when I've been in the room with these people and in the trenches, I will go in the trenches. I will take you to the hospital. I will meet you at the hospital. If something, I will get down there. And sometimes that's heavy for me.
Yeah.
And I have to have a break. I read a quote the other day. Every therapist should have a place to unwind, like a place. And what that means to me is maybe that's my bedroom with my weighted blanket and a candle.
Mhm.
Maybe that's, going to New York. I went to New York just by myself. And you know what I did? I went to kid art museums.
I love that you did that, by the way, because that was what you needed.
Girl, I went
And
through a
that's
ball
who
pit.
you are. You're a kid at heart.
I am a kid at heart. I went through a ball pit. Now, as an adult, it's hard to get in and out of a ball pit now.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun. And now there were kids, and then there was me. And I got out of that ball pit, and I looked at the people that were working there, and I felt so happy. But I was like, it was like channeling the inner child, right?
Yeah.
I was like, thank you so much for having a place where adults can come and like feel like a kid again.
Yes.
And they were like, that's what it's here for. And I was like, well, it did its job.
Yes.
And I walked out and I was like, I'm going to go to my room now. Like, I
love it.
That was what I needed because it had been a hard month. You know, holidays are hard.
Yeah.
And for therapists, it can be hard too.
Yeah.
But I'm here to help people. But then I've got to find a place to set that aside too. So you can't assume what people's mindset is.
Yeah.
And then like all these things sound good, but they lack in how. Like, how are they?
Right. Like, how am I supposed to be
Yes.
positive? And
Yes.
how am I truly supposed to think of the reason this happened? Right. Like,
Right.
how can you do that? You can't.
They sound good, but there's no how. How can those people get there? And then good mental health advice, good mental health suggestion, good mental health opinions should feel like to the patient or to the person should feel like grounding, not shaming. So you want to ground that feeling. You want to label that feeling. You want to express that feeling, and you want to go through that feeling. It should not feel like shame. Specific, very specific and not vague.
Yes, that's always very helpful for
Right.
me. Like asking specific questions and being able to articulate specific answers.
Right. So, you know, how are you? That can be vague to some people because
Yeah.
if you're not ready for someone who's well, as a therapist, I am ready for their how are you, because sometimes I will say, are you lying to me or yourself? And they kind of laugh. Those are my patients that I'm really close with. And they're like, both of us.
Right.
You know, I'm lying to both of us.
Yeah.
And then we get into it.
Yeah.
But like when I gave you how I was truly feeling, some people aren't, they're like, whoa,
You're not
I don't know what
prepared.
to do
Yeah.
with that. You know, and then I leave.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm sorry. And then you walk away. So be very specific with what you're going to ask.
Yeah.
Regulating and not bypassing. So we want to regulate that feeling and normalize that feeling instead of, oh, you've had a
Right.
bad day. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Hope it gets better. Move on.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are the things you want to look for in mental health tips at work. Grounding, not shaming. Specific questions, specific thoughts, specific patterns of thinking, not vague. And then you want to be able to regulate rather than bypass. So that's just brushing it under the rug.
Yeah.
And regulating it may mean normalizing, hey, like you said earlier, this sucks.
Yeah.
And what you're going through, like I said, is unfair. Shouldn't have happened. Not, hey, just be positive.
Yeah.
Or everything happens for a reason. Where that person is thinking, I can't find the reason. Or I can't be positive.
Yeah.
So those are my hot takes on like what your opinion is versus what healthy suggestions for mental health should be.
I love that because I think it's so good. It's so good for someone when you're in it, right? And it's also so good when you're the friend, the helper. Like it's so good on both sides to know how to ask these things, how to speak to someone, and also how to receive it, how to listen.
Yeah.
Lots to say.
Yeah.
But really listening is, I feel like, key here.
Absolutely.
All right, girl, thank you.
Be sure to follow our podcast on your favorite platform or find us on YouTube. Just a quick note, It's a Mental Thing is here to inform and inspire, but it's not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you're facing a mental health challenge, we encourage you to seek help from a licensed therapist like Erica or a healthcare provider. Remember, your well-being is personal, and only a professional can provide guidance tailored to your unique needs.